Hi, this is Dr. Tim and Sarah Blessing here on Project Next, where we are making the next Indiana and America free of fear and hate. Today, we have something to be afraid about, and I want to try to talk about that and get us in a better headspace around it. But what are we going to do about RFK cutting $500 million in mRNA vaccine funding? It sounds bad. We've had so many cuts going on. Why is this one the worst? Well, this is the worst cut for the scientific community and for national security that we've had, and we're going to talk about that today. Sarah Blessing, my co-founder, how are you today?
I'm good. You texted me a couple days freaking the crap out about this, and I am bombarded by negativity and what is going on in our country. So this has really slipped by me. It sounds terrible, but I only knew about it because you texted me. So let's let people know what's going on because I believe this is going to cost American lives. Am I correct?
It will. It certainly will. And it's not only a Democratic kind of talking point. We're seeing Republican leaders step up right now and calling this out. Sitting senators, those who've worked for Trump in the last administration, allies, saying this is a bad move.
So some Republicans are voicing good for them because yes, again, this is going to hurt people. It's going to hurt Americans.
This is a national security issue, so it goes across party lines.
This is going to hurt Republican voters.
For sure, certainly will.
Yeah,
will hurt everybody, and the reputation of the United States and our ability to retain scientists and people in medicine. Our ability to protect ourselves from pandemics and our ability to protect ourselves from warfare is what mRNA vaccines do. So biological warfare. So let's talk about like just a high level. We are in a moment where there's an attack on science happening, right? Science is being kind of defunded right now. And what it does by doing so is it makes people who are in the scientific community say, I don't have a job anymore, or my resources won't be there. Let me go off into another country and get this back. A lot of our scientists are from other countries, and they come here because we give, freedom of speech. We give freedom of and fund scientific ventures quite well. And so we attract the best talent around the world. The people who made this vaccine, or the science that led to this vaccine that we're going to talk about today, won the Nobel Prize in 2023. One of them, I believe she's from Hungary, and she's saying, why would I work in the U.S. anymore? I'm out of here. And just as an example, let's make our Nobel Prize winners leave, right? In science.
So if you're a Republican and you're hearing this, oh yeah, they cut 500 million in vaccine funding. So what? We're trying to be conservative. We're trying to save money. This is a good thing. Now we're going to have more money for things we need. Why is that argument not true when you put the facts with it?
Yeah. So this funding is for a specific type of vaccine called mRNA vaccine, messenger RNA vaccine technology. This technology started to be really researched around 15 years ago and has become bigger and bigger. When did it become huge? When did we lean into it? Well, when the pandemic hit in 2020.
That's when I found out about that word. I'd never heard it before. Yeah.
President Trump funded Operation Warp Speed. Right?
I remember being happy about that, but also worried since it had warp speed that maybe we were going to go too fast. And since Trump's not on my side, I was very worrisome about it. But looking back now, that was actually a really, really good thing, right?
It was an enormously huge investment in science, in our economy, in our national security, in the wellness of America. In the Make America Great, again, for America First, best way possible. This was huge. It gave $483 million as initial funding, followed up by another $472 million in July of 2020, and then another $1.5 billion to scale the release and large manufacturing of, in particular, Moderna's vaccine for COVID at that time. But mRNA isn't just for COVID, right? This is just one of the uses of how it works. So what
Trump
is this
gave a
vaccine?
bunch of funding for this technology for it to be studied in America. He helped speed it up. We ended up getting a vaccine that helped prevent COVID, and we were one of the first in the world. We led the world in this new thing because of Trump and because of government funding. Is this correct?
That's correct.
Okay.
That's correct.
And so now the same Trump who gave a bunch of money to fund this is now cutting funding tremendously.
Cutting funding for looking at these mRNA vaccines for the next usage of them to protect us against viruses, but pandemics in general, as well as having it be something that we can use on a dime, Operation Warp Speed, right? And to do it even faster if we're ever attacked by a biological agent. If we don't have these vaccines, and the researchers for these people go to other countries, Europe, whatever it might be, if China puts money into this, that's when they have the protection and the manufacturing capabilities for it. And why would they give us those? It's just like people in Africa didn't really get, and the people in third world countries didn't really get vaccines at the same rate that all of us did.
So another pandemic happens, other countries are going to be on the forefront of developing, hopefully, vaccines for them, and we're not going to be on the forefront of it. And so if we need the vaccine to save our families, it's going to be harder to get. What just happened this week? You just froze up. We're having internet issues. There, I think I can hear you. Okay, Tim? So is that right? What I was saying, like.
That's right. Yep, that's right.
Yeah.
So
great.
We're gonna
great
lose.
News. I liked my last live I just did about these amazing people in prison reform better than this live, Tim. You're bumming me out.
I'm sorry about this, but this is important news. And so I want to get to how we got to this place. Well, first of all, what are we cutting? It's 22 vaccine development projects for COVID-19, for the bird flu, and for other viruses through something called BARDA, which is the Biomedical Advanced Research and Development Authority. We don't need that anymore. Let's get rid of that money, and let's lose our ability to protect ourselves, whether it's a natural pandemic or a biological warfare pandemic. That's the purpose of this project. And so we're losing that. There's this greater attack on science. We just saw in the Big Beautiful Bill kind of an attack on clean energy, which goes right into science, and saying, okay, that even fossil fuels are good things and clean energy is a bad thing, right? There's been an attack on that through the Big Beautiful Bill. There's an attack on that right now from Lee Zeldin, the head of the EPA, saying that we shouldn't, that fossil fuels aren't the cause of climate change, and we should deregulate businesses and tailpipe emissions. That's happening right now, and we'll have an episode about that soon. Cutting academic science through Doge. IU right here in Indiana 9 lost millions of dollars of funding. And then what I want to say even more is that last week, or about a couple of months ago, you might remember this, there were 16 people removed from something called the U.S. Preventative Task Force. And it was kind of in the news, but it was a little, esoteric. It was a little hard to, what does it really matter? And these are the people who determine what gets covered by Medicare and Medicaid or not.
Okay.
And so they're doctors, scientists, experts. They were all removed by RFK on the same day, and are being replaced by other appointees. And so removed by someone who's not a doctor, not a scientist, and put them
So
in.
we're getting rid of the scientists, the doctors, the people that use facts and data, and we're putting other people that are not professionals in those fields in these spots.
And those people are the people that this particular group are the people who say that vaccines can be covered by Medicare and Medicaid. So by removing the scientists from there and planting other people, you now can say, okay, vaccines don't have to be covered by Medicare. And that's what RFK then said is like, oh, we're not going to cover, COVID, influenza vaccine in the same way.
So people that are on Medicaid are going to have to pay out of pocket for these shots. Is that what you're saying?
Or Medicare. And
Or
so what
Medicare?
that
Okay.
does, both, I mean, what that does, if that completely goes through and like you just have to pay out of pocket, and it's already started, what would be peeled back, but saying what it does is undercuts the market for vaccines, right? Because the people who make these vaccines aren't going to make the same amount of money. So those vaccine makers are going to say, I'm going to go make something else. This is not a very profitable thing to do. And so once you remove the market, then there's just not vaccines. There'll be a shortage for anyone that wants them, even if you want them. They won't be around. Even if you want to pay for them, they won't be around because they won't be produced in the same amount. So it's a very subversive way of cutting out vaccine development by its knees. And
I feel
so,
like, do you remember during COVID? So Trump does this great thing. We look back in time now and realize this was great. The Operation Warp Speed, wonderful, forefront of technology for the COVID vaccine. We're helping with this new technology that can help prevent so many deaths in the future. We can't even know which ones are going to be yet. That's all good. But at the same time, they were also kind of promoting pseudoscience stuff, and I
mhm,
remember that hurting people because people would trust the fake science stuff. Like there was something like ivermectin, and then it got all political and like horse medicine. And I remember all this crazy stuff. I fear that with the cuts to the facts and the vaccines and the science and the what actually works, it's going to be replaced with more of these pseudoscience things that sound good, make sense to people, and then we're going to take them and it's going to hurt some people.
yeah,
I don't know, that's just what I'm kind of worried about.
sure, and not well studied things. And so the ivermectin, just like any kind of conspiracy theory or theory around that doesn't come straight out of science, usually is based in some facts a bit.
Yeah. Mhm.
And so the ivermectin thing comes from it's a cheap drug that anyone can get off in your local store for deworming.
Oh,
But of course, that the pharmaceutical companies don't want you to know that it works, right? So there's that distrust of pharmaceutical companies, which rightfully so in many ways. And
yeah.
so there that distrust happens. Then there's like a small study of how it might work, but it's an early study that gets invalidated by a larger study, right? But you still have that smaller study out there saying, in 13 people, this
And there's so much fear because back then COVID was new and we were seeing people were dying of it and people were getting sick in different ways and some people were fine. And so we're all just like panicking. What a
ivermectin
time.
scientifically has been shown to have no effect on.
Oh,
Uh,
okay. So ivermectin actually didn't actually help.
no, but it was in the
Okay.
beginning. It was for some people it seemed promising, and
Right.
then it gets stuck right in people's minds. Oh, this is the right thing.
So some
But
people took ivermectin instead of winning and getting the vaccine, which did help, you know.
Yep, and that
Yeah.
happens. We're seeing that with measles. People are taking vitamin A as a way to get rid of or not get measles right now, rather than the vaccines for their kids. But vitamin A just is a treatment for measles that kind of that helps with some things, but doesn't actually treat the disease. So
So it's not
it's
near as good as the vaccine for measles.
it's not even good. It doesn't work to
Mm.
kill that. It's just that measles depletes your vitamin A, so you need it. It's not the thing that's actually causing the disease or killing it. All right. So then last week there was this big thing that happened, which I mentioned very briefly to you, and was so like I'm gonna watch this. It's too high level. It's one of the things I'll put red flags, yellow flags out, where RFK then removed people from what's called the vaccine working group, which is those in government who are looking to say, what should we do with vaccines? what vaccines, what does it all look like? And they removed the person that was appointed there from the American Medical Association, from the American Academy of Pediatrics, and from the Infectious Disease Society of America. They removed those 3 scientists and experts from this working group. So how's my sound check for a moment?
Sound check sounds great. You're just giving me the worst news, Tim.
Okay. I was looking at your face and I was like, is
My
this a
face
sound
is
problem?
depressed. I wish your sound was on mute.
So we removed those 16 people before around coverage of these vaccines. Then we remove a few more people from this working group. And to me, my flags went up. Okay, something's about to happen. Something big's about to happen.
So you're getting warning flags. People are being shut down that would be raising alarms. They're getting shut down before this happened so that they could kind of quietly do it.
Yeah, so that they can do it.
Yeah, because I didn't even hear about this. If I wasn't good friends with you, I would not know this had happened. And I'm pretty in on what's going on.
They can do it quietly. They can do it loudly. It doesn't matter. You remove the people who are going to object from inside the government.
Wow.
And so then, I believe it was yesterday, it could have been the day before at this point. We've had some emergency podcasts at this point. I think it was 2 days ago at this point. RFK decided to cut. And he said, as the pandemic showed us, this a quote, mRNA vaccines don't perform well against viruses that infect the upper respiratory tract. That's just blatantly false.
And this is from our government now.
This is from RFK Jr. in a statement.
And what's his role in our government?
He is the head of HHS, which is the head of health services across the board in the United States. So Medicare, Medicaid, the NIH, the FDA, the people who do drugs.
What I remember Fauci. What was Fauci? What was Anthony Fauci during?
He's just a special advisor who did incredible amount for us in the 80s and 90s to help control HIV. And so he knew how to take care of pandemics, and he was brought in as a special advisor to be someone that knew what was
going on. Did Trump bring him in again after he'd already done it a bunch?
He's already in the government doing this, but then Trump brought him close. And then there was.
So looking back, thank God that happened. Thankfully, they brought this expert in Trump's first term, but that's not happening right now. Now we've got RFK, who's dismantling vaccine funding and getting rid of the people that would raise alarm to what he's doing.
Yeah,
and it just seems very different from the first term.
Yes, very different, very different. And the big knock on Fauci is, recommendations around continuing to have social distancing and aggressive closing of things and getting people out of communities after the vaccines took hold, and rates of infection, but rates of death and our treatment abilities had been much better. Perhaps it wasn't updated quick enough, and
right. Sometimes,
too long.
Overall, though, he did good things.
Absolutely.
Not perfect, but nobody's perfect, and that was a very scary time. Nobody knew what was going on with COVID. Like, there was just so much uncertainty.
Right.
What a scary time.
That's the talking point.
Yeah.
And that's the talking point against him. I just wanted to
that's good. Not perfect, because it became political. He became attacked later on, and it's like some of the things they were attacking him on are valid.
Right.
But again, brand new pandemic. We'd never had this before.
Yeah.
It's just ironic looking back now after it's 2025 and admitting Trump did some things really good that saved a lot of lives, and I'm very thankful that happened. But now it just seems so different with this 500 million cut in vaccine funding.
Yeah. UN says these vaccines saved about 20 million lives.
What vaccines? All vaccines or just the COVID ones?
The COVID ones.
Wow.
So the effectiveness of the COVID vaccine isn't about killing the vaccine. People think you give this vaccine and it kills the virus. That's not
right.
It helps your body make an immune response to that virus. So you
Right.
still get COVID,
Right.
but you fight it
Right.
quicker, better, stronger, which means that it markedly decreases death rates for those who get it very badly.
And we
Or
see that now because we don't have the same deaths of people getting COVID. People have either had the shot or had COVID. I've had both. I've had the vaccines and I've had COVID a few times. Now I get COVID and barely recognize I have it. I just feel like slightly tired.
Mhm.
Um, because depending on the first time I had it, which was after the shots, but the symptoms were way worse. So the vaccines and getting it has built up my resistance, right?
Vaccines and getting it as well,
Yeah.
both. Yeah,
Yeah.
and in the beginning, right, that first time before you got it, that vaccine was all important. It's still important, especially for those who are older, who have disabilities, who have comorbidities they call them, which is other health problems. People definitely need it. Pregnant people. These are important things. People to get these shots. Still, it's good for everybody, and it's helpful for everybody, and it's helpful if you get it for yourself, for other people, right? So if you want to do something good for other people, you can get it as well. However, yeah, if you're sick, you need it. So you are at great risk of getting killed by this virus. And so,
I cannot imagine the anger you're feeling as a doctor. Your whole mission, I know you closely as a friend now, is to save people and to help them and make their lives better. I've never seen you quite so upset as this thing.
well,
Like,
I'm usually quite tolerant around vaccine skepticism and vaccine hesitancy, we call it. I'm very careful around the words to not offend people around this. I understand again the fear and the science that came out that led to people thinking that malaria drugs and dewormers and other things that were the right thing to do for COVID, or being scared of the vaccine because it was developed so fast and didn't have enough research. I get all that, and I'm so empathetic to that. This is a direct result of politics getting in the way of scientists and science trying to do good for the world, and just saying we're going to stop you from doing good for the world.
like
I don't,
people are gonna die because of this,
absolutely. And so
because of what's happened this week. Ugh.
how did RFK even get in the position to do this for us, right? He had to get nominated, which Trump nominated him. And that was a political favor, right? Because RFK was going to take a number of votes from Trump
Yeah,
in,
he was running for president.
right?
Right. I
And so
remember this. I remember seeing this. And then he had made some back deal that if he uh didn't run for president,
he'd become the head
Trump
of
would appoint him this position. And then
it,
that happened. We were hoping it was just a rumor, but it happened.
right? So they made that, and the Democrats kind of kicked RFK to the side, right? Didn't make enough of a tent for him, or try to figure out a way to bring him into the party. He was a Democrat. He was saying things that were anti-Democratic Party messaging, and they made him a pariah. His own family made him a pariah, and so looking back on that, it could have been handled differently.
I think me and you have made this point a few times. Maybe we shouldn't vilify people we don't agree with because sometimes it pushes them more far to the other side. They get defiant. Think about what's happened to us
Yeah.
and how far to the left people are, and they just yell and they cause more division. This is a real example of us not being accepting. And I don't know. I mean, I get it because he's saying things that aren't true. It's hard.
This is a perfect example of the point that your politics and policy and what you believe can be different than someone else, but how you deal with them, how you work with them, how you make deals with them, how you compromise with them, how you move things forward, how you treat them is independent variable from what you actually believe. You can believe different things and work together. That is how you make good government. Right now, we are not doing that. We have so few people that are doing that. One of the people that had a chance to do that and does do it along science sometimes, but completely got out of the way and did the wrong thing was when we had RFK pass to become the HHS secretary, one of the deciding votes, and the person that everyone was looking to, who knows about science, who knows about health, who is head of the Senate Committee on Health called HELP. His name is Bill Cassidy. He's the senator from Louisiana. He's a doctor. And he said, I hear what you're saying, RFK, that you believe in vaccines, but I'm going to hold you accountable. And if you try to do anything about this, I, as senator, powerful senator on the head of the health committee, am going to do something about it. And so now, Senator Kennedy, it is time. Cassidy. I said Bill Cassidy from Louisiana. I'm getting my Cassidys and Kennedys broken up. Bill Cassidy from Louisiana. It is time for him to step up. So what did he say?
What did he say? Hopefully he's held true to his word.
He said, quote, we conceded to China an important technology needed to combat cancer and infectious disease. That was his first quote about this today. He said, President Trump wants to make America healthy again and make America great again. This works against both of President Trump's goals. So, he's the one who had this critical vote. And in the Senate confirmation hearing, I'm going to read his quote. He said, I will rebuff any attempts to remove the public's access to life-saving vaccines without ironclad causational scientific evidence. So that's good that he's saying these words, but now let's see some action.
So a knowledgeable Republican that's a doctor that has power in the Senate is standing up and saying this is wrong. We should protect human beings' lives. This is going to cost lives. So that is a good sign that we have a Republican saying that. But it's already been done, right? I mean, this damage has happened. Can we stop it? Can we reverse it?
This is another thing of what's going on around appropriations. This word that you may have heard around the Senate and the House. They appropriate money. They say we should be spending money on this, this, and this. And then the executive, the Trump administration, needs to spend the money on that thing in the way that they find right? So they get to figure out how to administer it, but that money goes toward it. So they can pass legislation, and we just had a budget, right? We could have put it in stronger there too, but they missed the opportunity. But they can pass legislation and budget legislation, make sure that this is funded. So it's just maybe not through this program, through a different way at this point. And so that is Bill Cassidy. The other person I wanted to talk, especially because we're here in Indiana, is Jerome Adams, who is Trump's former Surgeon General. First term.
First term.
Yep. And before that, he was Pence and then Holcomb's head of health here in Indiana.
Wow.
Then left to go be with Trump.
I imagine Pence probably helped get that then. Pence probably helped get that person since he was VP at the time.
Right. And so Jerome Adams, a doctor, a Republican, he oversaw the development of COVID vaccines, right, through this mRNA technology. And this was the Trump-funded Operation Warp Speed that he oversaw. And so his quote today is, I tried to be objective and non-alarmist in response to current HHS actions. HHS is the Health and Human Services. But quite frankly, that's the thing that RFK is in front of. So I've tried to be objective and non-alarmist in response to current HHS actions. But quite frankly, this move is going to cost lives. Said that 2 days ago, right after.
So there's another good Republican, and I didn't really remember that guy. I thank him for what he did during the pandemic because he helped us.
And
so
then
it's good that he's saying it's wrong.
Chris Meekins today, Trump political appointee, Administration for Strategic Preparedness and Response in Trump's first term, is talking about these mRNA vaccines and investments that we have. And he said, quote, they serve as a deterrent to prevent other nations from using certain biological agents. The speed of the technology to create new biodefense capabilities is a national security asset. So this is someone who is head of security for us, and saying, this is a national asset. What are you doing? Get this money back immediately. We can't lose this, or the countries.
I fear there's too much going on right now for us to make the giant fuss it should be made. We all should be alarmed. We all should be, shouting from the rooftops and emailing and calling all our representatives over this. My fear is we've just piled on the problems. You and I have been very stressed out about Indiana and gerrymandering. I believe JD Vance is either in Indianapolis right now or just left, trying to gerrymander our state. We've got so many issues. I didn't even know about this until you told me.
Right.
That's my fear. I'm glad we're doing a show about it. People need to promote it. People need to talk about it. We need to spread it. But again, we're getting overwhelmed with the amount of bad news that's coming out.
Mm-hmm.
And I imagine the far to the right are not hearing bad news. I imagine they just have no idea this happened.
So this one, we talk about call your senator, call your representative, and definitely. And I want to see Todd Young stand up to this. And I think he should.
Because he's a smart man.
And he's someone who believed in science and talked about science and backed it in various different ways in technology. And this is a technology play as well. This is also a national defense. So Jim Banks should be all over making sure this does not go through as well, because he is all about national defense. So let's see our senators actually stand up, not against Trump, but for national security, for science, for
America, to make America great again.
To not lose our best scientists to go away. We just had a Nobel Prize winner say, I'm out of here.
No.
So,
can you just explain stuff to me? Because I am a little bit stupid on this particular situation. So this has already happened. We've already, it's done. There's no turning back, or can we do something to stop this?
I'm sure they can flip the switch right back on. It'll be just as disruptive as everything else that's happening and that goes off and on, like the tariffs. But probably can flip the switch right back on. I don't know the exact process, so I'm not going to claim to say I know.
Okay, but it's one of those things where Trump says he's going to do a tariff this much, and then he only does this much.
No, this
could change, maybe.
Right, this is a thing that's happening, so you have to then change it from happening.
Okay, but it could be changed. Basically, just they announcing they're changing it.
I mean, they said that they were going to turn it off. They can say they're going to turn it on, right?
It just seems like the president has a lot more power than sometimes I realize.
The money is appropriated to do this.
So money's been given to fund the vaccines, $500 million, and they're taking the money away.
Right, through this part of our government called.
Okay, you said that at the beginning, but I didn't fully get it. Thanks.
Biomedical Advanced Research and Development Authority.
Okay, it makes more sense to me now. Right. Thank you.
That's the thing.
Again, it's all so confusing. We need somebody to know the law, know what's going on, and then know the science. And I'm very thankful that you do the show with me and that you explain it to people. We just got to let everybody know what's happening. This hurts America. This makes America not as strong, not a superpower, not the strongest country in the world if we're not being at the forefront of science like we normally are, like we were with COVID.
So let me tell you another thing you can do here, right?
Okay.
You actually have a lot of some other things that we can do here, is that the people who have some power here are the scientists and medical community, and standing up and saying, this is ridiculous. You need to stop this.
Safety in numbers. The more that people do, the more organizations come out and say, this is wrong, the better chance we have to stop this.
So if you're a doctor in Indiana, call the ISMA, the Indiana State Medical Association, and say, I want to see you stand up to this. If you're a nurse, call the American Nurses Association, say, I want to see you stand up for this. If you're a scientist, if you call your university that you're associated with and say, I want to see us make a statement and send us. Anyone that has to do with medicine, science, as well as biotechnology, as well as national defense, security, weapons, defense companies, anything, consultancies, most people are associated with one of those things that I said in their life in some way.
Like
Pharmacists.
even like pharmaceutical companies, Eli Lilly is big in Indiana. They should be
Yep.
putting up a fuss. This hurts them.
Absolutely. And so if you work for any of these people, or a member of any of this, have a relative who is, this is your moment to get them to be active. And so I looked up, does the AMA say anything about this, the American Medical Association? And it turns out that President Bobby Mukamala is his name, stated that the COVID-19 vaccines using mRNA technology saved countless lives during the pandemic. And then he urged the administration to continue investing in vital research to improve these vaccines rather than abruptly halting such promising scientific advancements. So he came out and just very plainly said, stop this, right? And used the name of, called out the administration directly. So that's good, right? That they're stepping up, but we want to see even stronger language. We want to see.
Maybe we can do a follow-up on this, since you're gonna have to go soon, where we can just acknowledge in a couple weeks what places are stepping up and saying we value human lives in America and our country's success
And I'll
greater
say,
than this awful decision.
I'm a member of the ISMA. If they don't stand up to this, I'm leaving them. I'm not going to be a member of the Indiana State Medical Association if they don't stand up to this.
Right? Hopefully, they're going to put human lives, Hoosier lives, in front and do their job. I hope that they stand up against it.
I'll hold my side of that bargain that I just said. So
that's a big deal, Tim. That's huge that you said that. I think it's brave of you. I'm very thankful that you're letting us know what's going on. This has been one of those weeks that's been tough, mental health wise. Oh, yeah.
I'm not going to be a member of any academic society that's not pushing this. I'll leave some. I'll join others.
Join a better one. Join one that's going to. But maybe they will. Maybe they'll stay. So let's hold out some hope. Let's do it, and then we can call it out. I want to follow up on this. Let's announce in a week or two if they're going to do the right thing. I just want to see people doing the right thing right now in this time, who's standing up for humans and the betterment of our country. It's really humbling to be so thankful for some of the decisions that happened in the first Trump administration. And I wish we could go back to that time. I wish this second term we had some of those people that are not in this term now doing things that would help our country. I wish I wasn't so partisan, so that I could have been more aware of, oh, thankfully he's doing the right thing with vaccines. Oh, he's speeding it up. Oh, we're getting shots. I mean, it was a really run program, honestly. I worked for the COVID vaccines in Floyd County and helped give people shots. And how well they did. The Indiana department did a good job with Holcomb. So yeah, looking back and seeing what a scary time and the things that our government did well, and now seeing the opposite is alarming. And also, I wish we could go back to that first term.
Well, I'm going to go because I'm actually doing a Facebook Live on my Tim Peck for Congress channel. This would be the first one. It's a little bit of a test, just getting on there.
So you get done with this show, just go right over to the Tim Peck for Congress Facebook and see Tim there. Good luck with that.
We're going to be doing these pretty regularly. And so today is really us just doing a little bit of a test. We didn't really publicize it. Anyone who shows up, it'll be great to answer questions as much as I possibly can. But this is us getting the process and the technology down. But please.
Proud of you, my friend. Good job. And everybody, please share this episode. And if you want emails of our episodes, because you don't always see us on like Facebook or YouTube, just follow our Substack. If you type in Project Next Indiana and then you go to our Substack, you can put your email in there. And then every time we do an episode, you'll know about it. And then you can scroll through and see which ones you want to listen to or not, because we're pumping out a ton of content. So pick which ones you want. But I really recommend the Substack and also our YouTube channel. Our YouTube channel is great if you would subscribe to that, because the Dr. Tim episodes have so much amazing content in them. You can subscribe to our Project Next channel, and then you can click on playlists and find the Dr. Tim's, and you can watch all the Dr. Tim's you want. We have a vaccine episode that we did quite a while ago. I would say winter maybe, where you
Yeah.
gave a lot of facts about each vaccine because each vaccine's different. And I learned so much. And so that one was really fantastic. And you're just pumping out stuff that like my parents and my mother-in-law listen to for their own health to help keep them alive. And I'm just so thankful that you're making these shows. You're helping the people I love the most that are vulnerable. So, thank you, Tim, for you spend hours and hours and hours researching to make these Dr. Tim shows, and you really freaking help people. And I'm thankful to get to do this with you.
Well, thanks for being my partner here, and it doesn't happen without you. So
Thanks.
it's been a good team. We've been growing pretty rapidly as of late, getting some people asking us to show up in places physically, and this is really getting some traction. So
Yeah, when
um,
I was in Indy, quite a few people I'd never met before had seen us. And
yeah.
that was, that's good because we're trying to save our freaking state. So I'm glad some people are recognizing us. Yeah, it's exciting and scary, and we're gonna keep going. If you are fearful, hang in there. We are also fearful, but we are also hopeful, and we're also gonna give you solutions for these problems. Like with this $500 million thing, we told you what we can do. Scientists, doctors, these organizations, it's on you to start pulling your weight and calling for to stop this, to take this away and put the funding back in there. So let's do it.
The bottom line about this, mRNA vaccines are for rapid development of vaccines, warp speed, if you will. And if there's ever a novel agent that comes our way, whether it's a new virus like COVID-19 that our bodies have never seen, or a biological warfare virus from another country, we need this technology in place, the manufacturing capabilities of it, and we need to advance it to make it even better so that we can spin up vaccines immediately and protect everybody in this country and around the world. So this is incredibly important. It is an affront to science, but it is also a national security risk. And when that happens, it's one of those rare issues that go across the aisle. So we all need to gather together here and say what's right, what's wrong, and move forward with what's right.
I'll tell you one good news about this week is my children started school on Wednesday, so I had time to do emergency lives and extra shows. So I'll have more time to report the terrible things that are happening with you, my friend.
But remember, this one we can actually act on. Find a physician, find a nurse, find a pharmacist, find someone who works for a pharmaceutical company, find someone who works for a Department of Defense, or has a Department of Defense contract and is a defense or weapons company, or a biotechnology company, an innovation company, a technology company, an information systems company. All of these people are directly involved, scientists, academics, all these people are directly involved in the formation of vaccines, and indirectly involved on a second level, that they have academic societies that they're part of, lobbying groups that they're part of, companies that they work for, educational institutions that they work for or went to and are alumni of. You're an alumni of some of these places. Go talk to them and say, speak up. We need to make this change. It's a bipartisan issue. Make it stop now.
We can do it. Let's do it. Let's do it, you guys. Hang in there, have hope, and you're not alone. And we'll be back. Who knows when? I could use a little break from the emergency terrible news. Just FYI, world. I'm just putting it out there. I hope you get sleep tonight, my friend, and good luck on your live. And please share, everybody. And thank you so much, you guys. Love you all.
Thanks,
Bye.
everybody. Bye.